Well, hi there. You probably clicked this video because you're considering weight loss surgery in 2023. Whether you're in the stage of just thinking it or you have your surgery booked, I want to share a few things with you that I've learned so far on my weight loss surgery journey. Just so you know, the point of this video is not me trying to talk you into having surgery. It's not me trying to talk you out of having surgery. It's just some things I want you to think about as you are making the decision. I obviously have no credentials. I'm not a doctor or a medical professional of any kind. So everything that I'm telling you is from my own experience and not from a medical perspective. I really just want to share with you some of the things I've learned, and hopefully this helps you in your decision-making process. My name is Sara, and I have been sharing my weight loss journey here on YouTube since April of 2020. And then in August of 2022, a mere 5 months ago, I had a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. So now I'm sharing that part of my weight loss journey as well. I would love it if you're new here to go ahead and click that subscribe button. It really helps me, really helps the channel, and I love the sense of community here on YouTube, and I think you'll find that really helpful as you go along on your journey as well. I've learned a lot over these last 5 months, and I really want to share with you some things that are kind of outside of the realm of just, you know, what you can eat, what you can't eat, how much to eat, how much you'll be able to eat after X amount of time. These are some things that are a little bit different as far as that goes, and just things to really think about. It's things that will very highly likely happen to you, or things that you'll think about or will come up throughout your journey. So I wanted to share these with you today so that you can kind of learn from my experience having recently had weight loss surgery. So the first thing I want you to be aware of is that your entire relationship with food is about to change big time. I don't even think that I realized how many feelings I had and emotions I felt when it came to food. That being said, when those feelings started to change, or in some cases like completely go away, that opened my eyes and I was like, oh my God, I used to be really emotionally invested in what I was eating. Picture this. Friends invite you to go out to your favorite restaurant. When you get there, you glance at the menu, but you know your favorite dish at this restaurant. You know how delicious it is, and you're just ready to place your order. Now, when that dish comes out, you feel a certain way, right? So I want you to think about that feeling for just a moment. Think about how excited you get when the food comes. Think about how wonderful it smells, how you can't wait to dig in. Now, after weight loss surgery, that feeling is pretty much gonna either go away or change drastically. Even from the moment that you start looking at the menu, your decision on what you're gonna eat has to be a lot more intentional so that you can stick to your goals and follow the guidelines from your surgeon. And then if you do decide to order that delicious dish, you can really only have a few bites of it. So there's not this whole ritual of cleaning your plate that you have going on anymore. The first time that I felt this way, it was kind of sad. I kind of felt a certain way about it. Like, it made me sad when I realized, like, I'm not ready to party because a plate of food came to my table. I'm not ready to dig in. I need to consciously take my small bites. I need to chew my food really good. On the flip side of that, I feel like I do enjoy food more than I did before. And I know that sounds like it doesn't make sense, and maybe it doesn't. I'm not a perfect person, but those couple of bites that I can take now make me appreciate the flavors and the taste and the textures of the food so much more. It's pretty much a guarantee nowadays, and a lot of times I just ask for a box right up front that I'm only gonna take a few bites and then I'm gonna be completely done. So that ritualistic celebration of food at a restaurant completely changes. And that's just one scenario, and it could happen differently for other people. Anybody who's experienced this, please feel free to chime in the comments. But it's weird, especially because a lot of the time, like, everybody else at the table is still eating. You have to find new ways to enjoy other people's company that doesn't necessarily revolve around the eating part of going out to eat. Something I acknowledge though is that for me personally, I needed that feeling to change. I think part of my struggle with binge eating was kind of related to that feeling of excitement about getting food or getting a lot of food. So I think just that feeling that I described is something that was keeping me in like a constant cycle of, binge and restrict, or overeat and then restrict the next day, because I was always looking for that emotional feeling that I tied to eating food. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to enjoy food. Please do not take it that way. You will still enjoy everything you eat. In fact, you're going to even appreciate it more. Like I said, you'll experience the flavors and the textures on like a deeper level. I still eat food that I love every single week and day. I don't do anything totally crazy, and I still love to eat. I just can eat a whole lot less. But it is important to know that your relationship with food and the feelings that you have around it are gonna change. Like I said, drastically. Next up, if you want to be successful after weight loss surgery, there are going to be 3 non-negotiable goals that you are willing to commit to getting every single day. Those 3 goals are going to be your protein, your water, and your vitamins. They are a must if you want to be successful. Now, every surgeon and every bariatric facility has different guidelines as to how much. I can only speak from my experience at Blossom, and that is I have to get 64 ounces of water, at least 60 grams of protein per day, and I have to take a multivitamin as well as calcium supplements every single day. It's not a when I want to, it's not a, try your best kind of thing. It has to happen in order to be successful. Now, like I said, nobody is perfect, and especially me, least of all. I'm the least perfect person out there, but I'm always striving towards those goals. With my protein goal specifically, that is the one that I struggle with the most, and that's because sometimes it's just hard to eat the quantity of food that it takes to reach that protein goal, even if I'm eating things that are bariatric friendly, like Greek yogurt, boneless, skinless chicken, other high protein items. It can be challenging. There's some days where I'm just not as hungry as others. The good news for me is I was already a really good water drinker before I had weight loss surgery. So that would be a piece of advice here is if you are not in good habits of drinking water every single day, start that before your surgery so that it's a good habit, because it can be tricky some days after surgery to be sipping water all day long. But if you're used to it and it's something you're familiar with doing, then it's much easier. I have a very easy time. I hit my water goal or go over it every single day. I never have a problem. I shouldn't say I never have a problem. Some days I do forget, and it's usually when I'm busy or I'm out and about, but it's just something to keep in mind. Those 3 things are gonna be crucial to your success after weight loss surgery, so it's best to just, like I said, keep that in mind and know that that is something that you're gonna have to do for the rest of your life. You also need to consider the mental workload of weight loss surgery. And this is one I think that just does not get talked about enough. The mental shift that you will go through is, it's huge. It's big. I'd argue that this is actually the biggest thing that you need to take into consideration when you're making your decision. Are you ready emotionally for all the change that's gonna happen? And here are some questions I want you to ask yourself. Are you ready for unsolicited comments about your weight or your looks? How do you handle compliments that are related to weight loss or your appearance? That's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen often. Have you ever experienced body dysmorphia? When you look in the mirror, do you do negative self-talk or do you do positive self-talk? How do you really feel when you're looking at your own reflection? Are you emotionally attached to any clothing items that you own? Are there things in your closet that you would just be so upset that you had to let go of because it was goofy and didn't fit you anymore? I have dealt with all of those things, and I bring them up, again, not to scare you or shy you away from surgery. It's just something you need to be prepared and consider as part of this journey. It's not just you have the surgery and then you go on with your life. There are major changes. The good thing is there are literally thousands of qualified bariatric coaches, counselors, therapists. They're all out there and they're really wonderful people. I would highly recommend finding one of those before you have surgery to speak to, even if it's just one time, about what life is going to be like after surgery so that you're not blindsided by a lot of these feelings. The biggest one for me is that body dysmorphia. You would think after losing, I would look in the mirror and feel really good about myself, but there are days where I will look in that mirror and I'm like, ugh. You know, still doing that negative self-talk, and it's hard to let go of like that. I call it my fat girl image, right? Like how I felt so badly and so ashamed of how I was when I was almost 275 pounds, probably higher at some point. I was so mean to myself, and I catch myself every now and then being mean to myself in my smaller body. So that's something that I am currently working on. I do speak with a bariatric coach. I'm very thankful for her. There's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of when you get help from a therapist or a coach or a counselor. In fact, I think that should be really celebrated because this isn't an easy journey. So much changes in a very short amount of time. And when you think solely about the weight loss aspect, that's really exciting, right? That's what we're doing this for. But when you take kind of some of those other things into consideration, it can be like, oh my gosh, like this is some real shit here. You also should know that, yes, you can f*** up, but not as bad as you think you might. So when I say f*** up, I mean, yes, you can overeat. Yes, you can stretch your pouch. It takes years and years, but you can do it. You can get a little bit more capacity in there. Some things that you won't do, you're not going to rupture your stomach. I feel like I hear that from a lot of people. My friends over at Dual Wellness messaged in their thoughts on Instagram regarding this topic, and they said that they were so scared of rupturing their pouch that it made them really nervous. That is like really hard to do. I can't give you medical advice, but like you're not going to make your stomach explode, okay? Basically. But on the flip side of that too, you're gonna love how good you feel. Like, don't just think about it from a perspective of like, oh, I'm gonna mess this up. Oh, I'm gonna gain the weight back. Because you're gonna see a lot of stories like that out there. Is it possible? Yes. But if you stick to the protocol that you're given by your bariatric team, you're gonna be successful. You just have to be willing to commit to all of these changes that come with a major lifestyle change due to surgery. Even with the mental health stuff, right? Like if I'm getting help, it's still up to me to do the work. I have to commit to wanting to mentally be better. I have to commit to wanting to be physically better. I have to commit to hitting my protein, my water, and my vitamin goals. I have to commit to letting go of my emotional attachments to food. It's all about commitment, and if you're thinking about having weight loss surgery, I think these are all really important things to know. If you're not in a good place to kind of tackle any of those things, it might be better to postpone and then kind of work on those things that you know you need to work on, and then go back to the surgery when you feel more ready. Again, I'm not discouraging anybody. I would make this decision 100 times over. If I had to like go back in time and change my decision, I wouldn't. I would still have the surgery, and it's been life-changing for me. That being said, I think all of these considerations that I've brought to you today could apply to even non-surgical, non-medical weight loss too. These are all things that kind of everyone deals with when you're going through extreme weight loss, or, you know, I would say losing more than like 10 pounds where it's kind of visible weight loss. Everybody kind of deals with this stuff and they deal with it differently. I just wanted to tell you today to really think about those things as you're moving forward in the process and not be blindsided when it happens to you, because it's totally normal and lots of people feel these things as well. If any of these gave you food for thought, I would love to hear which one. Leave me a comment below. On your way to the comment section, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and feel free to share this video with a friend you know who might be considering weight loss surgery as well. I appreciate you watching the video and can't wait to see you at the next one, so bye!